So, as always, we begin by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, if you can please do us the honors by introducing yourself to our listeners and viewers and tell us about your amazing work.
Well, thank you. I'm Malcolm Burrows. I'm a lifelong sort of charitable sector, social sector person. I've been working in this space for 35 years, and I always focused on the philanthropic planning side of things. So I grew up working at some large community Toronto charities, and I now work at Scotia Wealth Management, where I'm both head of philanthropic advisory services. So I work with individual clients on their philanthropy and often their foundations. And I also founded and run a foundation called Aqueduct Foundation, which is a foundation that works with our mission is to facilitate personal philanthropy. We use donor advised funds, albeit not exclusively, but our vision, as it's in the name, is to be a bridge, not a dam, and to really be infrastructure for the charitable sector to help people make exceptional donations from their wealth and thoughtfully get it out into the community for impact. So.
Very good, very good. We thank you for your service in that. So tell me, what inspires you about the work you do?
So many things. This for me has always been a real passion. It's kind of the follow the feet. It sort of never occurred to me to do anything but, because I was always sort of worked in a social good space. I always wanted to make that community piece, but then I sort of learned over time the pragmatic problem solving and the joy of just working with people and organizations. So I'm very much my inspiration is working with values-based, decent people that want to make the world a little bit better. But just that, frankly, what always keeps me going is the people themselves. I really love that. I love the problem solving. I love the learning from them because they bring their lived experience. They bring their experience in the community. And our model has always been, we're going to not tell you where the priorities are, is you help us by telling us what's of interest and where people take us, how they educate us about community need, about organizations, is being one of the great joys of this. We're constantly saying, I didn't know, this is fascinating, how can we act on this?
Exactly. Learning all the things that and the parameters that help to build the infrastructure of what you're trying to achieve. Every day we're learning, and every day we're trying to solve problems. And, that's so important. So now on the flip side, what are some of the challenges or barriers you face in your work, and how have you overcome them or in the process of overcoming them?
Right. We're fortunate to be in the funding space, and so very candidly, we've been successful. Aqueduct has at this point over $1 billion in assets, but we've granted out $1 billion as well. And so it's coming from a place where in a resource-starved sector, we have resources. And so with that, there's significant responsibilities. We also work in the area of one of the, I think, inherent challenges in terms of social good with philanthropy is that, and I think inherent strengths as well, as I was speaking to, is the mix of sort of personal values and experience and public action. So often there's a learning experience. I mean, there's a constant ongoing learning experience for me and my team about knowing organizations, knowing the best way to engage with them, those sorts of issues. So we're constantly dealing with, and frankly, working with individual donors, and with the donors, helping them become better philanthropists. And they have their lived experience, they have their connections, but it's an educational process for them as well. So one of our barriers, this is frankly making sure that we're the good, responsible grantors, that and also that we're really engaged. Because we try to be as much as possible. The vast majority of the money goes out without any restrictions, so it's very much a trust-based philosophy. But it takes a while often to get to know the people you're working with, the philanthropists, and really connect them with the community. So it's not the greatest challenge, perhaps, but it's a real challenge in terms of making sure that we have true, equitable granting, fair granting, and also making sure that there's that sort of education and support. Because being a philanthropist it comes from the heart, but it's also a learned skill.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is very important too. And also, like, in terms of what you're working on now, is there
Mhm.
anything that you want to amplify for us? Anything you're working on new?
We've been doing a lot of work in a number of different areas. We use a lot of different uh, sort of impact strategies. So what we've tried to do is a lot of foundations in this space just simply give grants, and grants are very important. The majority of our activity. But where our donors have ended up taking us to build capacity has been so interesting. So we have, fairly traditional programs where we'll do things like community-based scholarships. In every case, we're going to a particular community of need, and we're putting the students at the center and their experience. We're always looking at financial considerations, and we're helping them sort of have a selection process that they can go to any post-secondary institution that they want to, as opposed to an institutional process, which often, I mean, the universities do a very good job and have rich, some of them anyways, have rich student aid budgets, but it's very much a mark-driven process, which at times can, if anything, increase inequities, because the best and the brightest are often the ones that come from families that provide the most support. So we've deliberately sort of gone in this space, again, through interaction with our donors, saying we need to go to communities that are underserved. We need to find those kids that wouldn't necessarily be supported and support them in a way that we're looking at financially, we're looking at that support to be successful. But we're also doing things like grants to qualified donees, which is fairly new in the system, and working with not-for-profits, in some cases international charities. And this is a set of rules that I'm sure many of your listeners, viewers are aware of, but just been in the system in Canada for the last 3 years, but trying to make sure that we open up the ability to grant to groups and provide funding, and there's not the requirement to be part of the Canadian Registered Charity System, but they're still doing good work in the community. We've done loans to charities. We've done direct ownership of property. In every case, it's sort of trying to figure out how do we use our resources to support activities in the community, partner with organizations. So that's tended to be our philosophy, back to this idea of we're bridging gaps. Is there a gap? Is there, How do we take capital? How do we deploy it? And sometimes it's just a simple matter of here's some money, do great work. Tell us how you're doing. And sometimes it's active intervention to make sure that we can step in and do things that you couldn't traditionally do directly.
Very good. Wow, this is very, and that's one sector, like in the philanthropy, is, for more people to be aware of the real depths of philanthropy work and all that it entails. You hear a lot about nonprofits and things like that, but a real deep dive into philanthropy work and all the checking
Yeah.
of the boxes to make sure that you are, yeah, adhering to those. So that's awesome. So let me ask, like, how do you feel about the future of philanthropy? Like, do you see it, declining, progressing, helping more communities? How do you feel about the future of it?
Well, I think there needs to be that moral urgency around that we need to keep driving for that community impact, that benefit. And it's something that I've done a lot of over the course of my career. I'd be really interested in the public policy piece of it. Is that some people. I sometimes joke and say, I don't play golf, I volunteer, I do. I'm really interested in making sure that we need to advocate, we need to engage with government, we need to work together as a sector so the system works. Are there a lot of places that it doesn't work? Hell yeah. But there needs, in my mind, there needs to be this collective commitment to the health of the sector and the impact. So the add-on to this is, yeah, philanthropy is growing. And what's happening, though, is it's reflecting some of the inequity in society as well, is that we're seeing more donations coming into the charitable sector, and particularly to foundations right now. And that's a positive thing. But we're also seeing fewer Canadian citizen donors, regular donors, because of affordability, perhaps because of connection, perhaps because of support, giving directly. So our donor pool is shrinking, but our dollar pool is increasing, and it's inequitably distributed. So Aqueducts, we're a foundation that's 20 years old, and we've become one of the largest foundations in the country. How do we make sure that we're that good citizen? How do we make sure that we get the money out? How do we make sure that we sort of really partner well? That's the challenge, because the danger of money in pots, inequitably distributed, I'd like to say it's still better than no money, but it's not enough. It's not good enough, and we have to have that community-wide thinking and that real accountability to make sure that our system works, and that's not a one and done. So
That's right. Absolutely. Very good point, and that's why collaboration is so key, because when we amplify work like this, it really goes out to,
yeah,
so it's like that attraction of people that
yeah.
you do need and the ones that you don't need, right? So that's excellent. So Malcolm, this has been really, really inspiring. I really love this. So if I was to ask you, what does success look like to you? What would you say?
Um, well, it's interesting at this point in my life and career is a success for me is actually sort of continuity, integrity, next generation ownership. I'm a real believer because I'm a founder. So one of the things as a founder is I don't want to be that founder that doesn't support and encourage the next generation. So I'm at the point in my life and career that I'm very actively wanting to make sure that I have an amazing team, that we have strong values, that we have good actions, that we have, that culture and connection. So success to me is, and I also know that when I'm no longer in the room, it's going to be different, but there has to be that ongoing integrity. So at least with Aqueduct Foundation. So in Aqueduct, this has actually been a 10-year process that we're kind of halfway through right now. My board of directors literally sat me down at the beginning of the process and said, Malcolm, you're doing okay. We like you. But, it's not just you, it's the whole organization. How do we make sure that we prepare for that future and we make sure that we can be the best organization we can be? That's going to be success, and is making sure that create an organization that will last with a high degree of integrity and real social impact.
That's right. And I love how you touch on, the future, like, and that's it. We are laying a very solid foundation in amplifying this work and what you're doing throughout your years and your journey. But we know that we have to pass the mantle on. We have to pass this torch on. So, your work is so important because you have to keep planting seeds into the minds of people to let them know how important this work is, because it's going to carry on whether we're here or we're not, so.
That's right. And I've learned so much from those who came before, and being able to share and transmit, it really is a collaborative piece.
That's it. Wow, Malcolm, thank you so much. So let's close on this awesome ending here. Just please give us your closing thoughts and calls to actions moving forward.
Well, it's closing thoughts. We do have many challenges ahead of us. I mean, there's no question about that. But I do believe that the need to continue to engage, continue to sort of work collectively to solve problems is so important, and one of the great strengths of the sector. Imperfect and as frustrating as it can be some days of the week, but there needs to be that drive and optimism, and I think but also the practical solutions and that openness to learn and collaborate is, to me, fundamental.
Well, we thank all that you do. Thank you so much. And on behalf of SETC, once again, we thank you for your time, your leadership, and we wish you much and more energy and, so that you can tackle on this, because we know it's not easy. So we will close the way that we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So Malcolm, once again, we thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll definitely be collaborating in the near future. So once again, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.